And to Whiskey with a Mate, my favourite segment. Today's whiskey, James Eadie, 11 years. That won't actually say much because this is a company that goes around Scotland, tiny distilleries, and say, oh, I'll have that and we'll sell that. But this one's then from a very small distillery in the Speyside region. It's Dailuin. It's been in the sherry cask and then oak. It's straight from the cask, so it's big, 54% alcohol. And I thought I'd do that to knock the socks off my mate for today, who is a former New South Wales Deputy President of the Australian Medical Association, and all very respectable. And then he got bolshy and he became the president of a new thing called the Australian Jewish Association. Now, what makes this so interesting is that most Jewish organisations, in fact, I dare say all of them, apart from this one, have been on the left or have kowtowed to the left, basically, in Australia, under the supposition that it's the far right that's the big enemy. When, in fact, I think if you look around, the big anti-Semitic forces now tend to come from the left. And the Australian Jewish Association was onto that from the start. And I'm talking now to the president, David Adler. How are you, David?
Delighted to be here, Andrew. And
did I sum up well? I'll pause while you just tell me where I went wrong in that summation.
Look, it's a generally good summation, but our primary mission is to fill a very large vacuum, to create a conservative voice for those who are centre-right or conservative politically, and also very closely allied with genuine Torah values, so the heritage, the ethics, etc. And they're the two legs, if you like, upon which the Australian Jewish Association stands.
But it is interesting, isn't it? Why are they so blind, so many of them so blind? I mean, they get in private conversation, I get it. But politically, you know, Jewish intellectuals, let's broaden it. Jewish intellectuals generally. I mean, I'm going to have Colin Rubinstein from Ajax say, how could you call us left-wing? But Jewish intellectuals generally tend to be of the left.
Look, there's a timidity and there's a tension between political correctness and principle. So if you want to challenge and test that, you ask, for example, them to say publicly that Jerusalem is the eternal, undivided capital of Israel, that we will say clearly. Take it to the next stage. The biblical heartland of Judea and Samaria, which some people call the West Bank, should be part of the state of Israel. We say that clearly. They're the principles.
I wouldn't say that because I think you're not going to get any peace.
Well, there's a whole segment of discussion in Israel about alternate pathways to peace. There's an Arabic saying, translated is, how long will you drag a dead camel before you realise it's dead? The same thing has been tried for decades, and there's a whole wealth of ideas, intellectuals, academics, commentators who are looking at alternate pathways in Israel. And
but
they've been excluded from Australia.
Well, the thing is, I'm not with you on the West Bank, but then, you know, I'm not you know, a Torah-believing Jew on that issue. But I like the fact that you're prepared to talk about problems with the way we've done immigration policies or multicultural policies and all that kind of stuff, which I think are real issues that too many Jewish leaders are running away from. But first have this drink. Okay. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Tell me what you think. This is 54... Are you driving? Don't have too much.
You know, whiskey is kosher. That is good whiskey.
Oh, that is very good whiskey.
Have you ever had
James Eadie. What?
Have you ever had Israeli whiskey?
Do you know, I haven't. And when you ask that leading question, I start to get a bit worried because of all the countries I've been to, there are two countries with terrible cuisine, particularly, apart from Ethiopia was pretty rubbish. Holland, where my parents are from, rubbish cuisine, apart from biscuits and cheese and things like that. And Israel. Oh, Israel, really, you've got to go to the Arab Quarter to get a decent food.
Look, then we have another point of disagreement, and I also have a solution. And I'm going to put a plug in. AJA is organising its first tour of Israel for March next year. A distillery in the Golan is on the itinerary.
A whisky distillery?
Absolutely. As well as some of the best food in the country. If you want to find out more about the tour, you just go to the Australian Jewish Association page. There's an event, or you send us a message.
How did this turn into a plug for tours?
Well,
I'm not endorsing that message until I get a taste of this whiskey.
Whiskey and food. We'll come back with a bottle for you.
Oh, that's really kind of you. That's really kind of you. And, it's funny, you know, I complained to the Israeli Prime Minister's office once that Israel does not do tourism well. You know, you've got a country here that has seen unbelievable history. The Romans have been through it. You know, the Phoenicians have been through it. The Egyptians have been through it. And empires have been built there, and it's founded the three great monotheistic religions of the world: Judaism, Islam. Well, Islam not quite.
From Saudi.
Partly, yeah, but they've got the second or third most holy site in Jerusalem. That's what they claim.
I know.
That's what they claim. It used to be your temple, but leave that to one side. I just think, just as normal tourism, you should be reaching out more. The hotels should be more friendly, and it should be sold as a great tourism destination.
It's a booming industry in Israel, but I tell you who the number one source of visitors to Israel are actually the Christians.
But they go on the pilgrimage thing, right? I get that. But in terms of history, just history, right? Look, this is not,
you're going to get me to plug our tour too much, but we can make our contribution. Yeah. We will be addressing the ancient history, the biblical history, the modern politics, interacting with people of calibre that are not part of...
That's the propaganda. I mean, I'm thinking... You have a think. I went to... This north of Israel, I've forgotten the name of the place. There's a Roman town, ruins, which is the most complete Roman town I've ever seen in ruins, though. I mean, an amphitheatre and all that kind of stuff. I hope we've got vision of it. And I thought, this is brilliant. I'd never heard of it, you know?
You have better Roman ruins in Israel than you do in Rome. And they're more accessible and they're less vandalised. And it's wonderful. I mean, Caesarea on the coast
also lovely.
Is an incredible place. You can walk through a chariot racetrack.
Yeah, it's the Gold Coast with Roman ruins. How good is that? I mean, but the thing is, this is what Israel doesn't do. Is everyone thinks it's so earnest, you know? It's either you got, you know, really fundamentalist Jews with beards down to here and black hats, or you got people with machine guns or something like that, or you got, you know, Christians whipping themselves down the street. No, there's also all this other stuff.
It's the combination.
If you guys got too existentially threatened to actually think of that.
You see the ancient history and you see the best of the modern too. You can go through other places where you see Google and Intel.
Look at that place. I mean, look at that.
It's fantastic.
There it is. Look at that.
Yeah.
Does it come to your mind? I forgot what it's called.
I've been there.
Yeah, same here. I picked a fight with someone who was trashing the joint. I always do that. I went to the Taj Mahal. I nearly got in a brawl because I cornered a couple of Indian chappies who were carving their names like this at the Taj Mahal. That was a bit hairy. I was really struck by your AJA, Australian Jewish Association. You're new, got almost no money. You started from scratch. Correct. You've got the biggest engagement on social media of any of the Jewish organisations, including the biggie, the Zionist Federation, New South Wales Jewish Board of Deputies. What are they doing wrong?
Well, I don't criticise other organisations, but I can tell you what we are doing. And we will articulate matters of principle clearly, and there's a response.
People are engaging. Look at that, off the dial. Look,
absolutely.
I'm going to keep your secret secret. You know why? Because I've run out of time. I've only got 10 seconds left. To say to you, David Adler, thank you so much, and the Australian Jewish Association.
Oh, okay, I have...
got to go.
Okay.
A gift. I'll tell you next week what it is. But for now, hang on, because Darren Hinch is coming up after this break, and thanks for the gift.